Marcus Aurelius ruled 2/3 of the entire planet. He was one of the 5 great Roman emperors, and he is known as the philosopher-king because this guy was a master of managing his emotions. And today we are going to extract 3 tips from his quotes so that we can make better decisions and we can be as good of a leader as this dude was. Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Brolosophy. I am Mike Fio.
And I am Nick Fio.
And we are the Fio Bros.
And our intention with this podcast is super simple: to share practical wisdom for a happier, more fulfilling life.
Yes, it is. That is our intention. And today we are talking about emotions, something that me and you in our loud Italian family have always struggled with. And we're learning from Marcus Aurelius. He is known as one of the 5 great... Is this an earthquake? I don't know. I think we're experiencing an earthquake.
Holy shit.
That was strange. I still feel it. Bro, was that an earthquake?
It had to be.
That was weird. Never felt an earthquake in my life.
Whoa, live on the podcast.
That was
earthquake in Brooklyn, New York. But we're good. We're still rolling.
So now we're going to talk about the earthquake that happens in our minds.
Nice.
Like that transition?
I like
All
the
right.
transition. Mike.
So Marcus Aurelius ruled 2/3 of the entire planet. He was one of the 5 great Roman emperors, and he is known as the philosopher-king because this guy was a master of managing his emotions and being able to separate his consciousness from his thoughts and from his emotions to make better decisions. And today we are going to extract 3 tips from his quotes so that we can all get better at managing our emotions so that we can make better decisions and we can be as good of a leader as this dude was.
Emotions control our lives. So if we can figure out how to handle these emotions, I think you're right. We can greatly improve the quality of our life and become better people in the process. So let's jump right in.
The 3 tips are broken up into 3 parts.
Yeah.
So the first part is we're going to understand our emotional home. What does it actually mean to experience emotions? Then once we understand our emotional home, we're going to learn how to protect our emotional home. And then finally, we're going to learn how to make our mind into a dream home. All from this dude.
I like it.
All right, now we can jump to number 1.
So number 1 of our listicle here, understand your emotional home. And the quote that brings this one to life by Marcus is, "The soul becomes dyed by the color of our thoughts." Marcus Aurelius. What does that mean to you, and how does it relate to understanding our emotional home, Mike?
So basically, your emotions don't come from nowhere. They don't just sporadically appear. You don't get angry for no reason at all. The best way to think about this is to imagine your mind is like a home and it has all these rooms in it, right? And in each one of those rooms are different thoughts that you're holding on to, okay? Those thoughts, that combination of thoughts, are becoming the color of your home, right? So it's the cluster of thoughts combined that creates the emotion. So if you go down to first principles of what really is an emotion, it is a cluster of thoughts. So that is where we need to focus. We need to focus on our thoughts, not necessarily the emotion. The thoughts are more telling.
Another analogy that just came to mind for me as you were saying that was, thoughts are like computer code, right? And the way that code comes together produces something that you see visually, which is the emotions that come out of us. So that I thought that was like a cool visual where it's just like all these little pieces of code patched together creates this thing.
Yeah.
And basically you're saying the quality of those thoughts is going to produce different things when they're combined together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So that is the perfect transition into tip number 2. So now that we've have a super basic understanding of our emotional home, and we realize that it's really just a combination of thoughts filling up these rooms in our emotional mind, our emotional home. What is tip number 2 for Marcus?
So number 2 in our listicle is to protect your home, like you said. And the quote that brings this one to life by Marcus is, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guard accordingly."
Yeah. If thoughts are what create emotions, then that's where our focus should be, on our thoughts. And what Marcus Aurelius is telling us is to basically stand guard at the gate of our mind. Stand guard of that home.
Yeah, so if you just thought of the little gate in your head right here, just be the guy that stands in front and says like, nope, can't come in here. Nope, gotta go the other way.
And the difference between thoughts and emotions, we said emotions don't come from like seemingly nowhere. They have a root, which are the thoughts. But thoughts do sometimes come from seemingly nowhere. Like they're floating around and they're invisible. And they'll pop up right at your front door. And it could be like a random ass thought. Random. They could be random. So that's why it's our job. Marcus is saying it's our job to be vigilant.
Yeah.
To use our awareness, our consciousness, and to practice that awareness. To stand guard at the gate of the mind and be choosing which thoughts we let in, which thoughts we want to welcome into our home, and which thoughts don't necessarily serve us and what we're trying to accomplish in our home.
Yeah. This is really all about awareness here, because another thing that I realized about thoughts is that they're patterns, right? So sometimes we think certain ways because we've just thought that way for a very long time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not random. It's literally just hardwired into us to continue to think this way. Something bad happens, I'm going to react this way. Something bad happens, I'm going to react this way. And I think this one is really about the awareness and taking that, like getting outside of ourselves to look and try to recognize those patterns too. Right?
Yeah.
There's these patterns that are unfolding. And if we bring the awareness to them, like that guard at the gate that's looking out for them, we can then make the next change that we need to make.
Yeah. I think the thing that's helped us the most with this tip is meditation.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to practice what we're talking about here. Because what meditation really is practicing the awareness of your thoughts. Let's go back to the home example. Your mind is like a home. When you meditate, you're sitting in your home and you're actually practicing standing guard at the gate, and you're watching all of these guests that want to get into your home and out of your home. Basically, it's happening so fast. And what meditation allows you to do is slow it down and make more conscious decisions about, okay, let's let this thought in.
Now, you see, I don't agree with that, because that's not the point of meditation. The point of meditation, in my opinion, from what I've learned over the years, is that there's no judgment about letting in or not letting in. It's really just watching and not attaching to any of them. That's what meditation is really about. So going on your note, I think meditation is very helpful to bring awareness to the ability to see that we're having the thoughts. My tool that I would say that's been the most helpful with this, in terms of what you let in and what you don't, is the practice of journaling. Because that's more of an active, like, okay, I see I'm thinking this, and now I'm going to write about what I want to start like moving towards.
That's actually the perfect transition into number 3.
Okay.
So we're understanding our emotional home, breaking down emotions into thoughts. We're standing guard at the gate of our mind to make sure that we are only allowing welcoming thoughts to come in. But the final step is what you just said, is to become proactive about our emotional home. And we called this one creating your dream home. And this comes from the quote by Marcus Aurelius: "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. What he's telling us to do is to be proactive about the thoughts we want to invite into our home, right? To start the morning inviting positive thoughts. Fill up your home and fill up those rooms proactively with grateful thoughts, thoughts of love and gratitude.
Yeah.
If you do that, then you leave very little room for the negative thoughts to come.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes it a lot easier to guard your mind.
I especially love that he starts this quote with the words, when you arise in the morning. Because when you think about it, the morning is such a critical point in time because those thoughts you have in the first 20 minutes of the day,
20 seconds.
20 seconds of the day,
Yeah.
really do shape like almost the rest of your day, right? And if you wake up and you're like groggy and you don't want to get up and like it's like a dread, a lot of times that carries over into your day.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so powerful to put attention on this fact that the morning, the thoughts we have first thing in the morning, how can we shape them to better serve us? Do you have any tips or thoughts or practices that you do to get thoughts that serve you in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you were talking about, how we transitioned here, which was journaling. I think we both journal.
So what does your journal process look like? Walk me through the process of your journaling experience every morning that helps you to have these positive thoughts to start your day.
I have 3 steps to it. So the first step, I call it a G storm, gratitude storm.
I like that.
So I just like create a storm in my mind of gratitude, and I just write literally nonstop, free write. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that.
So you just basically get your brain on this like train, this gratitude train.
Yeah.
And it's just like bang, 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 bang. Just like,
bang it all out.
Yeah.
It's not like 3 things. It's sometimes can be like 25 things because I just go bang,
Yeah.
bang, 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 bang.
okay.
Then after that, I do affirmations, which are basically I am blank. So for example, this morning I wrote, and this is once again like just a free write, no limits, no rules to it. It's just go.
Yeah.
So I wrote, I am one with the universe. I am one with God. The Holy Spirit lives within me. I am a spirit having a human experience. I am one with the divine. I am living in the infinite
So
now.
you're basically planting thoughts into your head in this one that you want to take hold.
Both. Both of those 2 steps are doing that same thing.
Yeah.
I'm planting this is what I'm creating my dream home every morning.
I gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have the gratitude, we have the affirmations, and then what's third?
And then third is just the free write. So this is my chance to basically get anything that is on my mind out of my mind so that it becomes clearer on the paper. And a lot of times this one is as simple as what advice do I have for myself this morning? And that's basically
So do you ever get to this point in the morning routine or the free write where you're feeling like stressed and anxious? And what is that like? What does that writing look like, and how does it help you?
Like, do I ever
So, like,
feel
you just-
anxious when I start my free
So
write?
you wake up one day, you're feeling
Like shit.
anxious, stressed. You feel like shit. Now you're going through this process. You storm through the G storm, right? Write all this gratitude stuff, but like it's kind of just like you're getting it out there. The affirmation, same thing, but like internally you still feel like shit,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now you get to the free write. What happens in this time that helps you?
I write out the thoughts,
Okay.
which comes back to the first tip. I turn the emotion of anxiety into clusters of thought.
Okay.
I ask myself, what thoughts am I having that are producing this emotion? And I literally list them out.
and then you try to like analyze those thoughts as you're writing and like change them.
Once I get them all out, I first dump them all out, and then I take an objective viewpoint of it. So I'll start by saying, I'm feeling really angry.
Okay.
Then I'll ask, why am I feeling angry?
So you have almost like an interview with yourself.
Right.
Okay.
I say, okay, why am I feeling angry? What thoughts are producing this anger? Well, last night, me and Danielle got into a fight, and she said something that really bothered me. and I'm still holding on to that anger, and I'm not forgiving her, and I'm also angry with myself for how I responded to that. So I'm basically just like peeling the onion and trying to understand what is really going on here.
Gotcha. So this is like the ultimate self-awareness meta experience where like you're almost interviewing yourself.
Like my own therapist.
No, I think that's really helpful. So from a journaling perspective, that's really an effective way to get clear on what thoughts we're having.
And you know, it's funny to bring this full circle back to this dude.
Yeah.
What is all of this coming from? It's coming from his personal journal meditations.
It's true. Yeah. No, you're
all
right.
meditations are his notes in solitude to himself. It's him giving himself this advice. So when he says, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He's not telling us that.
Yeah.
He's journaling to himself. He's telling himself, when you arise, Marcus, do this.
Yeah, because he was probably having thoughts that were opposite of that, right? So he was giving himself advice. So that's a really good point. So how are we going to sum this all up? How are we going to make it practical and end this episode? What do you got for us?
I think it really is the analogy. I really appreciate this analogy of thinking of your mind as a home. And understanding that the rooms in that home are the thoughts, and together they create the quality of the home, which are your emotions, your emotional home. And so what we need to do is practice awareness, stand guard at the gate of our home, treat it as if it's this, like our own home.
Yeah.
The way we would treat our own
Become
home.
a student of our own mind.
Right. Stand guard at that gate, practice awareness, and then also be proactive about creating our dream home in here.
Yeah.
Don't let life happen to us.
Yeah.
Right? Take the initiative. Do the practices that help us to fill this thing up.
That's a good point.
With beautiful rooms.
And that brings me to like my big takeaway and call to action here is to start a journaling practice. Because I think that is the most practical thing you can do to start becoming aware of the thoughts that you're having and how they're shaping your life.
I agree. And a meditation practice, but journaling is way easier to start.
Yeah.
All right. That concludes episode number 10. I like this one. It's a good one.
Good job, bro. Marcus, peace.